Assalamu alaikum, girls. Welcome to your first lesson on chapter 2. Chapter 2 covers input devices, output devices, and storage devices in detail, which you have just barely skimmed over in chapter 1. So, we first start off with input devices, which by itself are divided into two, that is, manual input devices and direct data entry input devices. So this week we will be covering manual input devices, which is section 2.1 in your textbook. The objectives for this section according to your syllabus is that you need to be able to identify various input devices and their uses. All these input devices that you see here are part of your syllabus specification. The success criteria from this particular lesson is that you should be able to know the purpose and be able to identify different manual input devices, understand their uses, and be able to discuss what their advantages and disadvantages are. For a starter for today's lesson, let's try to look at some sentences and think if they are true or false. You can see here the first sentence that says an SD card is an output device. As you know, an SD card is the card that gives you extra storage capacity which you can put into your camera or phone or laptop and so on. So can this be an output device? No, because this is a storage device. It increases your storage capacity. Yes. The second sentence says that a scanner is an output device. So let's think about this. What does a scanner do? You put photos into it or paper with text, and then it scans it into the computer, which becomes into digital format. Is there any output happening here? No, rather a scanner is an input device. Something from the outside world is getting scanned and become digital content on the computer. So that's false. The third sentence says that you can use the keyboard for inputting sound. Right away it clicks you that a keyboard is not used for inputting sound. It is an input device used to input the keys on the keyboard. So let's move on from our starter. As an introduction, we know that input devices allow data to be input into a computer. All these that you see here are examples of input device that take some data from the outside world and convert it into a form that the computer can understand. This digital data can then be brought into the outside world using output devices, and all these four that you see here are examples of output devices. So where do storage devices come into place? When there is data to be processed by your CPU, that data can come from storage devices. They are only used for storage. They do not do the same job as input or output devices. So you can see this is how all the three types of devices that we are going to discuss in this chapter come together to form a complete cycle. The first input device we are going to discuss today is a keyboard. A keyboard is used to input data into applications and even type commands into the command line interface. You would remember that a command line interface is one of the types of UI among CLI and GUI. The advantage is that it is easier and familiar for most users, and it allows for fast entry of text into a document. But once you learn about direct data entry input devices, you will see that it is a much slower method of data entry. The second input device we are going to discuss is a numeric keypad. You would be familiar with a numeric keypad. You would have seen them at ATMs or at the checkout counters in shopping malls, which are called POS terminals. It is straightforward to enter numeric data into it, like PIN, number, the price of something, and so on. But the disadvantage is that you cannot use it to type letters, and this is similar to how older mobile phones used to be. To type C, for example, you have to type 2 3 times. 2 will become C, and so on. So this is not very good for text. And even the keys can be too small for consistent typing. The third and fourth and fifth device we are going to discuss now are all examples of pointing devices. Pointing devices are those devices which are used for pointers in a GUI. You would remember from the GUI lesson that WIMP, Windows Icons, Menus and Pointers, is a main type of GUI. So this pointer comes from the pointing device that helps it to move around. The first pointing device you are learning is a mouse. A mouse is used to control the pointer on the screen to select windows, choose menu options, click on icons, and so on. And you are aware of these things. And the advantage of using a mouse is that it is easy to navigate through many menu options and it is quicker to select the option compared to use a keyboard. The disadvantage is that it can be easily damaged. You need a flat surface for using it, and otherwise you will not be able to move the mouse around correctly. The second pointing device we are going to discuss is a touchpad. A touchpad is actually a pointing device on a laptop. It is part of the keyboard, so there is no need for any separate device to be connected to the laptop, and this is its advantage. Whereas a disadvantage, which you would know from using your laptop during online lessons, is that it is much more difficult to use compared to a normal mouse when you want to get very precise data entry. The tracker ball is the third pointing device we are discussing. Maybe this is the only new one for you today. It is used by those users who tend to have limited movement or mobility in their wrist. This is called RSI. We will learn more about this in coming chapters. The advantage of a tracker ball is that it is easier to use compared to a mouse and you can have more accurate positioning of the pointer, which definitely means that it is more expensive to purchase, and as you know, this is not very familiar to most users. Now let's try to complete a drag and drop task for all the input devices that we have discussed till now. So let's see. The first fill in the blank is asking input devices allow data to be dashed into a computer, and we know that input devices allow data to be input into the computer. A mouse, a touchpad, and a tracker ball are known as dash devices. We just went over this. All these three input devices are actually examples of pointing devices. A touchpad is built into the dash. It is more difficult to use compared to a dash. As we know, a touchpad is the input device for a laptop. So it is built into the laptop. It is more difficult to use compared to what's the other option? We could have a mouse instead of a touchpad. A numeric keypad could be used at a dash, dash or dash. We saw that numeric keypads are the ones used at ATMs. They are used at point of sale terminals, which means the checkout counter in supermarkets. And it's also used at chip and pin. You will learn more about this in the coming chapter. Remote control can be used at a dash. We know that remote control can be used from a distance. Dash and dash can be used in a web conference. Think about a web conference. What two things do we need? We need a webcam to see the participants, and we need a microphone to be able to hear the participants from the other side. Let's check if our answers are correct. Yes, our answers are right. Moving on, the next input device we are going to discuss is a remote control. A remote control is used to control TV channels, menu options, any other multimedia systems like you have, maybe speakers, and it has other industrial applications as well. The advantage is that it is an input device that can be used from a distance because it relies on the signal, and the disadvantage is that the signal could be blocked by walls or obstacles. The next input device we are discussing is a joystick. A joystick is used mainly for computer games and simulators. It is easier to use compared to a keyboard, but it can be more difficult to use compared to a mouse because managing where the cursor goes might be difficult. A driving wheel is also used for gaming, for racing or driving games. It is used in simulators as well. For example, if you have any relative who has used a driving school car simulator, they would have used a driving wheel. The advantage is that the driving experience is more accurate than using a keyboard, but the disadvantage is that it's more expensive and the movement could be too sensitive. As plenary for today's lesson, I have a past paper question for you. The diagram is showing a tower PC. This is the tower. We need to name two input devices apart from a keyboard and a mouse, which is already in the picture, and these two input devices could connect directly to the tower. So let's think of all the input devices we've learned today. Which of them can connect directly to a tower? Just take a moment to think. You must have thought at least of some of these examples. A microphone can be directly connected to a tower. A scanner can be connected to a tower. The joystick or the webcam are all examples of input devices that can be connected directly to a tower. That's all for today, girls. Hope you have a good week ahead of you. Assalamu alaikum.